Oh, we got a good one for you today, unit. A special amped up we will be covering, going over, reviewing AEW Dynamite for 1/1/25. The first broadcast of the new year for AEW. So it's pretty cool we get to talk about it. This was their Fight for the Fallen show. And if you're a new subscriber to the channel, we're not always able to consistently catch AEW Dynamite every Wednesday night. At least not in totality, and especially not live. So to be able to not only catch this show live last night, but to also be able to do the notes on it, my due diligence, watch it with a keen eye, and deliver this review to you guys, I just think, man, that is so badass. Because I honestly feel because I'm not able to consistently watch every Wednesday, you're going to get a much more honest review. Because I'm telling you exactly, as somebody who wants to be captivated, somebody who wants to say, I have to see what happens between wrestler A and wrestler B. I have to see how this storyline plays out. That is must see. I have to find the time next week to tune in. Even if I don't have it, I have to find the time. That's what you want to tell your audience, right? You want to bring them in and give them reasons why this has to be appointment television. Must-see TV, it's called. And unfortunately, in pro wrestling today, a lot of it is easily skippable television. It's not must-see. And that goes for WWE too, guys. For everybody that thinks World Wrestling Entertainment business is booming because they're doing good financially, they're failing in many metrics. Thank goodness they have WrestleMania season coming up so they can get that string of sellouts again, because that was a thing of the past months ago. You aren't hearing too much about a string of sellouts anymore. Merchandise sales down 46% than just 6 years ago. Ratings, we know where those are at. So this is a problem across the board where promoters, whether it's a Tony Khan or a Hunter Hearst Helmsley, they're not delivering must-see TV. It's not captivating television for most fans. So because I'm not able to catch AEW consistently as much as I would like to, when I am able to, I really love to see what is drawing me in. Is there anything must-see TV? So that's why when I say we're doing a review on AEW, I know you guys really dig that too. Because we all get together and say, hey, you know what? This is something to keep an eye on. This is pretty cool. Or what the fuck are they doing? Like Cope. Last night, there was a dude named Cope on the television. And he looked mighty familiar, by the way. We'll talk about it in this review. What the fuck is a Cope? Cope. All that time off, and he's sitting at the table thinking, when I return, I don't know if I can just be Adam Copeland. I have to be edgier, I think, right? Like edge connected. Adam doesn't. And Beth is there with her hot cocoa, like, I don't know how to cope with all of this, Adam. And he's like, wait, that's it. Cope. Cope. Edge. Cope. Right? It's 4 letters. It's 1 word. I think that could be the new cool thing, man. They'll be like, yay, Cope. What up, Cope? Cope. We'll talk about it. Ricochet last night. Rico's out there looking like a substitute teacher with his little scissors waiting for arts and crafts to start. And Jeffrey Jarrett, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jeffrey Jarrett was the highlight of the night, I feel. At least the one promo that had me interested. I can't believe I'm saying that. 57-year-old Jeffrey Jarrett is on AEW television, first of all. And why is he one of, if not the best thing on the show? That shouldn't be the case. But good for him. The flip side is what he declared he's going to do in 2025. Tony's not actually going to do that, right? I know I'm not able to catch it consistently, but Tony Khan is not actually going to allow Jeff Jarrett to hoist that up, is he? Because if you're wondering why even their diehard fans are starting to turn away and go, this isn't what I first got behind. This is a totally different thing and it needs to get back on track. If you're wondering why they're saying that, it's probably because of that. Like, that cannot happen. That's a pretty nice goal for Jeffrey Jarrett. It's a cute thing to say. Give him some good storylines if you need to. I didn't think AEW was going to be given all this TV time to 57-year-old Jeffrey Jarrett, but that's what they're doing. Even Karen Jarrett was there last night. Remember Karen Jarrett, formerly Karen Angle? But that's what they decided to do. But you can't actually do that. That's not going. Everybody was ripping Vincent Kennedy McMahon when he was putting all these dudes over 50 and all these main event spots and hoisting up championships. Don't be shocked when that same energy is delivered to Tony Khan if he's going to do that with the Jeffrey Jarrett. I already feel Jeff Jarrett's getting way too much time. We'll talk about it. Jeffrey Jarrett was I think the best part of this show, correct? We'll go over it. It was pretty cool. You had Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss on Dynamite last night. Oh, no, hold on, wait. Oh, no. I just looked a little closer. Second look, it was actually Jamie Hayter and Julia Hart, not Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss. Listen, like I said, I am not able to catch it consistently. If you were flicking by real fast, you would have thought Becky and Alexa. It was Jamie Hayter and Julia Hart. We'll go over that and how that finished. The Mist of Doom. It's all coming up, man. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to drink a lot of coffee. Have a lot of fun. Review Dynamite. There was ups, there was downs, there was all arounds. I'll give you my thoughts on Hurt Syndicate and Mercedes Moné and their booking and a whole lot more. That's your cold open teaser. I'm not going to take you guys to any opening signature. I'm just going to get a swig of coffee. We're going to jump right into it. What do you say? Yeah? Sound good? Salute, unit. Hopefully your New Year's are off rocking already. I know it's only the second day of the year, but they go by. Hey, you blink and it's already 2026. So first and foremost, what I want to do is give a shout out over to JR9 Gaming. Make sure you guys check out the last upload we put up. I believe that was just yesterday. Going over Seth Rollins' line about AEW being competition. So check that out in the comments. JR9 has his NXT Weekly Roundup, and it is, once again, a really good read. Go to that upload in the comments, JR9 Gaming. It was a women-heavy show for NXT. I was not able to catch the show, but I saw in the promotionals that it was a women-heavy show. Usually NXT, for the most part, books their women pretty damn good. But I was surprised to see JR9 said no. The match I was really looking forward to, I was going to go back and check out at some point, Kalani versus Lola. But after JR9's report, I don't know anymore. How do you screw that up? And I don't want to give any spoilers. I want you guys to actually read that. But JR9 gave that a 3.5 out of 10. Thank you for telling BC I missed nothing. Let's do this. AEW Dynamite, 1/1/25. Another swig of coffee. Come on. We're going to start with Hangman and Orange Juice Cassidy. So Hangman Page defeats Orange Juice Cassidy at the top of this show via buckshot lariat pinfall. Post-match, Page continues to put the boots to Orange Juice, giving him a post-match attack. Christopher Daniels tries to help Orange, but suffers the same fate and takes a whooping himself. So we have an unhinged cowboy in AEW, and he is an Adam Page. So that's it. That's all I put in my notes, and that's all that there really is to talk about. For me, it was just good to see Christopher Daniels mixing it up. Huge supporter of Christopher Daniels. If you follow this channel for any length of time, you know that. So it was cool to see him in there getting involved. You want to have one more match, Christopher Daniels? Take the suit and tie off and get in there with Hangman. Take the L, obviously. Raise up Hangman even more. I'm definitely cool with that. Hurt Syndicate was out next. Hurt Syndicate defeat the Scissor Daddies. That's what I call them anyway. I don't know. The Scissor Daddies. It works. Lashley hits the Hurt Lock, locks it on to Caster Max, and Bowens was fuming on that L. So he actually left his partner passed out middle of the ring. Bowens was like, I'm out of here, dude. So friction continues between them. 3 or 4 minute match only. That's all this was. I mean, maybe not a squash by definition, but a squash for all intents and purposes. Syndicate is being booked strong. Love it. Don't let up, Tony. Sometimes you got to, touch that brake a little bit, ease up, and then there's times to keep that foot firmly on the gas, and this is one of those times, man. The Hurt Syndicate has to be booked this way. The caveat, if you will, the asterisk that I will put into that is now you have to turn it up a notch, though. you have to make it more interesting. And what I mean by that is like, it's like AJ Styles booking. That's what I call it, right? AJ Styles has become like the name synonymous with racking up a lot of W's. That's good. Your wins-loss record looks really sexy, but nobody really cares about you. Nobody's talking about you. It's not meaningful, right? AJ Styles went on this run where it was over a year, where WWE was giving him way more W's than L's, but nobody cared about what he was doing. He was not involved in anything special or intriguing or anything conversation worthy. You got to be careful because Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, they're in that same kind of camp. You can rack up all the W's in the world, but what does it all mean? What is it all for? It's pro wrestling, don't forget. This isn't like boxing. It's not UFC. It's not even a football season. Try to get the most wins you can in 17 weeks. So there has to be meaning behind it. And so now we're at that point where, okay, we see that Tony is going to book them strong in the win-loss column. Cool. That's check 1. Check 2, now you have to make it special. You have to make people go, damn, it's Hurt Syndicate. Make them feel something, right? That's next. So I love the first step, right? Like Mox says, crawl, walk, run. We've crawled to a good win-loss record. Now it's time to start walking to a good storyline. Some intriguing moments, and then we'll be off to the races running at that point. Hurt Syndicate will be a big thing. I always thought they should have been much more than they were in WWE. And I thought if they do sign in AEW, I still thought they could be something massive. I still feel that way. So let's turn it up. Let's start to add some material, some actual creative to their shtick. Next up, Jamie Hayter versus Julia Hart. Now, this was, I had some fun with this in the cold open teaser, but this actually happened. I had a good buddy come by to pick something up, and he doesn't watch a lot of wrestling, but he knows WWE. And he walks in on this match, and he says, oh, Becky and Alexa, cool. I'm like, no, it's not even the same company. But then I look, and I'm like, I can so see how he, first glance, Becky and Alexa, all right? If you don't watch the AEW product, and I remember like weeks ago, I looked real fast and Jamie Hayter was doing a backstage promo and I literally went, Becky? So it was just hilarious when that all went down. I'm like, I got to put that in dude, that's going in the upload tomorrow. Becky and Alexa. Much love to Jamie and Julia though. They're doing their thing. Julia back in action last night. Julia ended up defeating Jamie. That was via pinfall after hitting the black mist of doom or whatever it's called. I don't know. Shinsuke would have been proud. So Julia picks up the W there. Not much afterwards, guys. That's the notes. I mean, there's more fun in the Alexa Becky joke, I guess, than the booking of this. And this is what I mean. It was match after match after match last night, but not a lot of substance in storytelling afterwards. And that's why I love doing these reviews, because you're getting somebody who is not just desensitized to this or just jaded to the product, right? You're getting a fresh set of eyes that is telling you what is wrong and why a new audience isn't coming in. Like, I want to see AEW succeed, and I know that's a hot take because these days it's easy and fun to just bash AEW and just want to watch it fail, but I don't. I want to see it succeed and be something special so it can really give a boot to the ass of WWE and make that better. But we can't do that unless we're honest about it. So, this is a very honest critique to see it be better. So, I mean, that's just advice that they should honestly take. Take these matches, cool, but what is the substance behind it? Is it just bell rings, some wrestling action, bell sounds off to finish the match, and that's it? Let's go backstage for some promos. Because they had plenty of those last night, so much that I didn't even put them in these notes. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, right? Edge and FTR come across, Adam Cope, we'll go over that, come across the learning tree. They have a weird little segment. Mariah May cuts a pretty nice little backstage promo. Just a lot of, but that's not what I'm talking about. There has to be substance for what is happening in the ring with these characters and these matchups. Julia pins Jamie Hayter with the mist. And then hour 1 ends with the CEO, Mercedes Mone. And I can't fathom that this is what they're doing with somebody that I truly respect to the highest of levels. If you're a new subscriber to this channel, I'll tell you this. This channel was founded upon 2 individuals, really. Sasha Banks and Bray Wyatt. It's ironic and wild to conceive the notion that neither of them are in WWE anymore. Much love to Bray, of course. And Sasha just moved on to another company, AEW. But, those were when I started this channel, those were the only ones that really captivated me. And it's almost the same thing as Hart's Syndicate with Mercedes, right? So what I mean by that is Mercedes is racking up W's, right? The AJ Styles effect. He's racking up W's like Hurt Syndicate, she is. But what does it all mean? Does anybody care about them? Like, is there any emotion behind these W's? Is there any substance coming from them? Or are we just naming matchups, right? Mercedes is just naming the next contender and the next contender and the right? It's Statlander here and then it's going to be Shirakawa over here. Or are people behind this? Or are you just shouting out a bunch of matches you're going to have? Like that is a very constructive critique that they need to think about, because I am the highest of supporters for Mercedes Mone. But just coming out every week and going CEO, CEO, and twerking and dancing is only going to get you so far. Take this constructive feedback and make it better. This is coming from a huge Mercedes supporter in a professional wrestling world where there is a lot of non-support for Mercedes. So that's how you know this is as honest and as genuine as I can possibly deliver to Tony Khan and AEW. Do better, man. You have to. I mean that in the most sincerest and best of ways, because I want to see her succeed. Again, just like Hurt Syndicate. Good start. The W's. Awesome. Her with 2 titles? Damn right. She's one of the best female wrestlers on the planet. Whether people want to believe that or not, agree with it or not, like that fact or not, that's their prerogative. But she is. She just is. So the W's and the titles, I love it. Now, the substance. Just like I said with Hurt Syndicate, there has to be a reason for all this. There has to be emotion tied to the W's and tied to the championship victories. Mercedes is out there and she plays this video package. Cool for BC as a fan, as a supporter. Recapping some good matches from recently in her 2024. And then she says she's looking for more gold in 2025. And she's starting that with Japan talent imminently. So she's talking about a 3rd title. So keep racking them up, but just have that emotion, have that special feel behind it, right? That substance. That's all I'm saying, man. But that was Mercedes' promo, and I really was looking forward to more. Like, I didn't know she was going to be on this show. I'm doing my notes. I'm watching. Here comes Mercedes. I'm a massive supporter. I'm like, yeah, all right, man. Fucking, I'll take the next 15 minutes on this segment. Let's have something fun. Let's have something creative. Let's really get something going. We play a video package. She says she's going to get more gold in soon, and that's it. She's the CEO. She dances, and I can't defend this. So when the community is like, dude, what are they doing with Mercedes? Tony Khan has dropped the ball with her. How can I defend it, right? I want to, being a supporter, but it's hard to, because Tony's just doing the same thing over and over and over with her and expecting a different result. At this point, it's almost insanity. Mercedes Mone ends hour 1 with that video package and the claim for more gold in 2025. And then we go to hour 2 with a triple threat match. So this was Roderick Strong versus Jay White versus Swerve Strickland. Again, triple threat. Jay White pins Strong. Ricochet would come through the crowd. He's looking like a substitute teacher or a used car salesman. He's out there. He's just so tiny. And he's always wearing those suits that is like one size too small. Right, where like the suit pants don't even go past the ankles. It's just they're just skin tight, so I don't even know how he's moving. But like, If you walked by him at a Chick-fil-A, you would never know he's a pro wrestler. Come on. That's just the truth, man. There's nothing else. We have to be honest, right? He'd be right behind you at the Chick-fil-A. You'd never know he's a pro wrestler. And if he's wearing that silly substitute teacher suit, you think he's maybe managing the Chick-fil-A. But he's out there with these scissors, so he literally looks like a teacher. Right? He's ready for arts and crafts. Hilariously, the scissors were nearly the size of Ricochet. I don't know. And then he jabs the scissors into Swerve's dome piece. And he just keeps kind of going over that on Swerve's dome piece. So Swerve is wearing the crimson mask. The blood is over Ricochet's white button-down shirt. So that's not going to be good. The principal is not going to let him go in front of the students like that. So that's it, man. You're getting this ruthless aggression, Ricochet. I don't know what it is. I just can't take it seriously. I can't. Hoping I get there, right? I see where they were trying to go with it, but because it's little Ricochet in that role, what do you... I don't know. Ricochet all of a sudden is doing that. This little micro machine. It's funny. I don't know. I'm hoping I get there, though. Samantha Irvine says that, the fans kind of made him that way, turned their backs on him. I don't think that happened at all. When he got to AEW, a lot of fans had things to say, and he tried to go back and forth with them. And BC was like, a lot of fans were like, why do that? Spend your time in a beneficial way for you, right? Work on your mic skills, work on promos. Right, do better in the areas that you lack in instead of trying to go back and forth and fighting with fans. It's not going to get you anywhere. Do something that's more conducive and conductive and beneficiary to you. Because that just made even more fans go, dude, this guy's a jerk, man. This dude's an idiot. So, I mean, I don't think they just turned their back. A lot of people wanted to see him go to AEW so he could be booked better, they said. But then it was pretty clear that he has the good matches, I guess, right? Flips and dives and makes people go, oh, ah. After that, man, there's only so much Tony Khan can do. That's one of the areas I actually defended Hunter Hearst Helmsley on. Because I'm like, even if he gives him solid booking, because he lacks in so many other areas, there's a ceiling for somebody like Rico. It's unfortunate. So stop going back and forth with fans. Work on your mic work, man, maybe, right? Work on your promos. Now, if this was the start of working on his storylines with Swerve, I hope it connects. But it was so... Comes out with these goofy scissors and I just couldn't get substitute teacher out of my... not even teacher, right? Not even professor, teacher. No, like substitute teacher. That's what I got. Or... used car salesman. The farthest I'll go I'll meet you in the middle and I'll say, you know what? Manager at Chick-fil-A. There you go. There's Rico. Was that brutal? Man, the coffee's kicking in. Amplified. New subscribers are like, damn, this dude gives no fucks. You know. Where'd we go after that? I don't even know. Where did we go? And the best part of this show was next. That's what I put in my notes. Oh, I know where this is going. Can't believe I'm saying this. But it's true. A Jeff Jarrett promo was next. And it was the most captivating part of the night because it was story time at least, right? I could actually take a second and just try to get involved in a story, right? Jeff Jarrett was telling us his story about how his grandmother... and then his father, his mother, and then the whole family got involved into the business, started running their own promotions. Then he started his own promotion, 2002. I can't believe it was I thought it was even before 2002, but I guess that was Impact. And then did he mention GFW as well, Global Force? That never really got off the ground, but he started that one as well. But he goes over the whole history of Jeffrey Jarrett. and he teases retirement, but instead he declares that he has re-signed with AEW, and that's going to be his last talent contract that he ever signs. So, but more than that, I just learned a lot about Jarrett, not just the history of the Jarretts, but what drives Jarrett, right? And for the first time, I actually cared about a Jeff Jarrett segment. So I guess that's something. That's the plus. The flip side to that is it's 57-year-old Jeff Jarrett, and he's declaring, guys, that he didn't just sign a contract. He is going to become the world champion in 2025. That's the goal. That's what he signed for. And I truly believe the negotiations with Tony Khan, he probably actually said that. And Tony probably said, yeah, at some point in this year, you'll get the world championship. Guys, I hope that's not the case. No shade over to Jarrett, trust me. And at 57, still rocking and doing this, more power to you. But that's not what AEW was supposed to be, right? That's what a lot of people are getting upset about. Sting is one thing, right? 60 some odd, it's Sting. People are willing to overlook it. Dustin is a locker room leader. Dustin is respected by so many. He's up there 50s, I believe, as well, correct? He just re-signed. But, okay, Jeffrey Jarrett? Guys, the truth with Jeffrey Jarrett is in WWE, WWF, guys, he was always going to be mid-card because that's just what he was. You look at all the talent, even in that weird time, right? That was a weird time in WWF. The Diesels and the Razor Ramoneses and stuff. But Jeff Jarrett was never going to surpass to the top of Bret Hart's and the Shawn Michaels. He just wasn't, guys. There wasn't that type of charisma. I'm telling you. I remember that, and I really liked Jeff Jarrett as a mid-carder. And even Razor Ramon was mid-card back then, and you're telling me he's more charismatic and got that personality and that character more than Razor Ramon? No. Razor never even made it to main event territory in totality, guys. I hope a lot of you guys know that. If you guys remember Razor Ramon, he had some main events. I'm not saying he didn't. But if you remember, he was actually more mid-card right up until the time he left. It was Big Daddy Cool Diesel and the Bret Harts and the Michaels and all them. They were main event. So always remember that. So if Razor wasn't getting that, and he could have easily been main event, you're damn right I'm going to be honest and say Jeffrey Jarrett was mid-card, and that's best. And that's where he should have been. Double J. Jeff Jarrett. And I was cool with that. He was good in that role. I was fine with him with the IC Championship. But you wouldn't give him a WWF World title. Stop it. They tried it, though, in WCW. How did that work? Didn't. And it doesn't matter if Hogan demanded the title or not. That was not working. At a time where WCW is now struggling against WWF, you're putting your title on Jeffrey Jarrett, and you're wondering why ratings are sinking even more. Guys, this is just truth. This is as honest as you're going to get. Jeffrey Jarrett was not going to pull anything. And there's a reason that he got that world title after the whole NWO thing ran its course and all of that for the most part, right? With all of that talent, Macho Man, Hogan, and Roddy Piper, and Sting, and Goldberg, and all of them. Diesel's over there, Kevin Nash, all of them are there. You think Jeff Jarrett was going to win their world title? No. It was once everything, they already cashed in, the company was now on a downhill spiral, and then Jeffrey Jarrett gets a championship. That's great that he started his own promotion, made himself champion a few times, that's awesome. But at 57 years old, declaring that you're going to be the champion of a company that is struggling right now with perception more than anything because of what it was founded upon is the opposite of what Jarrett is claiming. The fact that he even got a new contract at 57 is contradicting what Tony said to the audience, to the fans, to the base. So much power to the dude. Again, he was the brightest part of last night, and I don't know what that says about this show. But what he is saying and declaring that he will be champion this year, hold on. We're not really going to do that, are we? Should we be putting the world championship on Jeffrey Jarrett as he turns 58 in a few months? If that's the best direction, okay. Again, we'll sit back and we'll see how it plays out, right? But I just don't see how that's beneficial to anybody. I do wish that this was Dustin Rhodes in this spot. This is exactly what happened with Dustin, right? In his 50s, just got his last talent contract, as he stated it. And The difference is that Dustin broke that on social, right? This, I just signed my last talent contract with AEW. It's his last ride, so to speak, right? Before he rides off into the sunset. Jarrett just did the same exact thing, but he got to play it out in a promo live on Dynamite. I wish Dustin Rhodes had that opportunity. That would have hit even harder, even much better. So I really hope they give Dustin Rhodes something very special. But it looks like they're just going to hide him over here in the corner and just give Jarrett all the limelight. Very odd. Just very odd, that's all. I thought the dude would just be backstage, just helping out the younger dudes by now. I could see if Jeff Jarrett was just this larger-than-life character, guys. I really could. All the charisma in the world, and but much power to him. He knows how to talk to people backstage. That's what it is, man. He's a really good person-to-person, sociable talker. I don't know, because he got Karen Jarrett, a beautiful girl that was Kurt Angle's wife. He was able to do that. He was able to wow Dixie Carter into doing some business with him back in the day. He was able to give... He had Vincent Kennedy give him 3 opportunities to return, and each time Jeff Jarrett kind of screwed him over, or at least he kind of just left him. Recently, he was the head of live events. He was given a pretty decent role, and he ended up saying deuces when AEW called him for something he thought was better. But Vince kept bringing him back, and just his whole career, he's found himself in these really good spots, and I think that's great for him. But I never thought he was that great. Man, I told you were getting ruthless honesty here. I never thought he was I never thought he should be in many situations that he was in. I'll just leave it at that. To BC, he was always mid-card, cool, play it good. You're good in that role. But if you're telling me there's not a billion people I would have chose over Jeff Jarrett for many of the spots Jarrett was in, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't. There is. There's a billion wrestlers I would have put there first. And I'm telling you right now, there's a billion wrestlers I'd give the world title to in 2025 before Jeffrey. But salute to Jeffrey. And I don't know what this says about the show, but he was the brightest part of it last night with story time in the history of the Jarretts. Next up, Powerhouse Hobbs wins a handicap squash match. That's it. That's all I had in my notes. That's all they had. There was no creative behind this. This is WWE Hunter Hearst Helmsley booking, right? Go out there, squash 2 dudes. I love jobber matches, but what's the substance? Back in the day when Ted DiBiase would squash somebody, Ted DiBiase would then take a $100 bill and shove it down their throat, or he'd bring somebody in the audience out, and he'd humiliate them till a face has to save the day. Save that fan. Right? Back in the day when Jake Roberts would defeat a jobber, he would take out Damien the Snake and have it put on him, slithering all around this dude that's knocked out. Earthquake would give you 10 more tsunami ass splashes after the match. Rick Martel would be spraying you with arrogance after his matchups. Mountie would electrocute you after he beat you. I mean, there was always, a wrestler always had something that was going to be fun after he beat you, right? Undertaker would put his opponents, literally guys, in body bags. Him and Paul Bear. He would take the jobber and put him in a body bag. It was fun. Like Powerhouse Hobbs, these days they just win a match and they think that that's going to make them get over. Fans are going to go, wow, did you see the W that Powerhouse Hobbs got last night? Doesn't work that way. Has to be substance behind it. You have to do something that's going to be memorable. You have to have something to your shtick and a story to go along with it. BC's on fire right now, dude. I tell you, man. If the industry just listened more to BC's words, this industry would be a lot better off. We go into the main event. This is Adam Copeland, Cope, and FTR versus Death Riders. Of course, headed by Mox. You heard me correct. Edge, Adam Copeland's new name in AEW, is Cope. In fact, the title is even longer. His nickname is longer than the... Right, it literally says in quotes, Rated R Superstar Cope. So you have Dax, Cash, and Cope. It sounds like a 2025 new era of the Three Stooges. Dax, Cash, and Cope. What the fuck is a Cope? They defeat the Death Riders. Wheeler eats the pin. This was like old school Vince booking where all the faces hit their moves on the heel. So that's great for the faces. You send everybody home happy with a smile. What does that do for the heel? And what does that do for their trajectory? What the heck did you just do to the Death Riders? They were supposed to be this menacing force taking over AEW. If you guys didn't see that loss last night, all it took was Cope to come back. And FTR. Death Riders are done. They already lost. What more needs to happen, man? They didn't just lose. Wheeler got friggin' just torn up. And we go off the air. And then you wonder why people can't get behind the Death Riders. They didn't believe in it. And that's why. So in totality, this may come as a surprise because we had a lot of fun with this review. There's a lot of things I just don't understand and shouldn't have been on this show. But I love the fact that they went to smaller arenas, right? Fill them up, have that intimate feel, put the light, you can jack the lights up more now, make it more lively. Maybe not as many fans making it lively, but the lighting is on now, so there's much more, it's much more appealing to the eyes. I feel like this show, this company, can absolutely improve and imminently. I feel there is absolutely hope for this company, and that's a really good thing. Because if you just listen to the rage in the community, it's like doom and gloom for AEW. There's no hope to get better. Eric Bischoff constantly saying they're done, they'll never be anything, this, that, and the other thing. And then I watch it and I'm like, no, that's not true. Even if the shows are not good, I get it. I can't tell you that this was necessarily good. But there's hope, man. If they clean this stuff up, the good news is a lot of the things I took issue with was that I wanted to see more, right? More substance, more of a story, add to it. That's the thing with Hurt Syndicate. That's the thing with Mercedes. You have to give us more. If you know Christopher Daniels comes out there to really put this new evil Hangman over, cool. Give us even a little more, right? He goes backstage and something more happens. But add layers to it. That's the biggest issue I had is I wanted more. I guess that's a really good problem to have. And then there's just things that, yeah, they don't have any business. I don't know where they're going with it. Like the Jeffrey Jarrett thing, like Rico and his scissors. But, you know, hopefully we get to that point. You know, Mercedes, more. What? Okay, she's got W. She has a bunch of championships. That's awesome. That's what she should have had in WWE. But more. There has to be a connection now, right? People have to want to see Mercedes. Not just want to see her pick up another W, but actually intrigued about what she's doing. There's absolutely hope for this show. It's not doom and gloom, man. And I know people probably listen to this review watching this, and you probably already started, right, in the comments, you're already like, screw AEW, they're done, it's horrible. Maybe. It's your prerogative. But at least there is hope if they just listen and they make the correct changes. This is a show that can turn around within one calendar year, guys. And it's the beginning of the year. What better time to start the change than now? That should be their resolution. But in one calendar year, they can turn these struggles into a triumph. Struggling to get 600,000 viewers. By the end of the year, they can get back to at least 900. And that may not sound like a lot. Right? You see a whole year, they only got back to where they were before. Yeah, when you drop off that much, it's harder to get people to give you a second chance. One chance at a first impression. If you can get back to 9, baby steps. This is not a show that's finished. It's not necessarily a good show. I didn't catch that last night. I agree. But this is not a doom and gloom sitch. This can actually be turned around. This show can easily be saved. So I think it's just a cool, fun thing maybe to do in the community. Just bash like it's the worst thing we've ever seen. It's not. Not even close to the worst thing You guys don't remember WCW before it went out of biz. You want bad television. That's what I got for you guys, man. On this amped up special edition, man. We got to talk some Dynamite. We don't always get to do that. Pretty cool. So, in the future, if I'm able to do that, again, like NXT, I will absolutely deliver amplified reviews of both shows because I really enjoy doing that, man, because it catches BC up on it, right? What's going on this show? What should I be into? What should I be looking out more for? What can captivate me? What's must see? What do I have to make time for? Yeah, pretty cool. Thank you guys big time, man. My channel members, gold card, my diamond card members, and of course my VIP Coffee Club Coffee card members. 2 years plus membership, man. Hopefully, guys, new year, new you, rock it out, but stay amplified throughout. 44 dive straight up the middle. Don't look left, right, or behind. 44 dive. Channel members, salute. Until next time, and there will be that next time. BC in the unit saying check you. 44 dive, that's a wrap. Salute.